STR-6050, and I thought I was done when I was wrapping up with part one, but there are a couple of things I wanted to look at, and I'm kind of looking to see if I can resolve one of the mysteries that one of the mysteries regarding how the mode control worked. But if nothing else, I decided that I wanted to rewire the DIN connection properly, so that if somebody in the future wanted to use that, it would behave normally. At least it would be wired the way it should be. So there's some other things I get into as well. Some cleaning and some stuff having to do with the tuning mechanism and so on. So I hope you'll join me. This is Old Electronics Fan, and this is part 2 of my Sony STR-6050. And I thought I was done when I was wrapping up with part 1, but there are a couple of things I wanted to look at, and I'm kind of looking to see if I can resolve one of the mysteries that one of the mysteries regarding how the mode control worked. But if nothing else, I decided that I wanted to rewire the DIN connection properly, so that if somebody in the future wanted to use that, it would behave normally. At least it would be wired the way it should be. So there's some other things I get into as well. Some cleaning and some stuff having to do with the tuning mechanism and so on. So I hope you'll join me. Okay, well, I'm going to look at this DIN thing, because this looks rather odd. So let's zoom in there and some more. Get this to go, maybe, and bring us up a little bit. Okay, so let me show you why I'm a little bit wondering a little bit. So these two pins are left and right record out. That's what these are for. Let me go to that, which I think is supposed to record out. Let's see. Record out. Yes, okay. I didn't have it wrong. That's what I thought I saw there. Now, what is making me a little bit puzzled is that I usually don't, when you see a resistor in one of these circuits, it's usually in line with the signal line. You'll see that in a minute. But what this person has done is they have tied these two resistors together. There's a little yellow wire right here, and this is a ground. I believe it goes up to the ground here, and I don't see, oh, these are probably tied together. Ultimately they wind up getting tied together at the other end, I think. So anyway, so the ground goes to the ground side of the RCA jack, and RCA connection. So what they've done is they've tied these two resistors to this ground. They've added this wire and this wire to feed signal to here and to here. Now, as I looked at that, I thought, that seems a little odd. So let's take a look at what I found in here, right here. Let's back out a little bit so it's easier to see everything. Okay, now, alright, so now we can see all of this. So if you want to explore the rest of this yourself, you can. But here's where we are, these three. I want you to see how this is wired. This goes to ground, and this goes to ground, which then goes over here to this aux. And you notice it's tied together. All of the grounds are tied together, it looks like, based on how this is wired and how this is drawn. Notice also, record out. So this is the signal heading out to your tape recorder. Yes, so source tape, source, okay. So signal goes out here to your tape recorder, which allows you to record. Now on the DIN connection, there's a resistor in there in series with this, and the same is true here. And that's kind of what I expected to see, was that the requirements of the DIN connection apparently were such that this would have been too much voltage being fed to whatever's on connected to this by way of a DIN connection. So so that was what I would normally expect to see. But what that other person did was, and I think, well, anyway. Oh yeah, let's go back there for a minute. So here's what I think he did. Oops. That looks so nice. Now that's clean. Alright, where is my DIN? Right there we go. Alright. As I was looking at this, I was puzzling out what he did. And here's what I think he did. I think this resistor was connected here, that resistor was connected here, and then this wire went up there and this wire went up there. That's what I'm guessing. And they were about the right length. So I'm not sure what it was that caused him to make this modification. Those of you who are familiar with DIN stuff and who have used it and who have dealt with whatever issues there might be might know why that would be the case. Now, having this resistor across the ground would act to reduce the voltage a little bit coming here, but it's not going to be the same as having this in series with this wire, I don't believe. But that's what they chose to do, and I'm guessing, I suspect they knew what they wanted, and given that the modification still stands, it apparently worked for them. But I would have to explore DIN connections more, and I don't think I have anything that uses them. I mean, I could explore it online, but so anyway, that does indeed answer my question. Now that I have the schematic to look at. So yes, he did change this, and this was how I thought it should be, and I have a feeling that's how it was, but he just modified it. As I was wrapping up with this little mystery, I think I also solved another mystery, which is why the mode switch, which controls the left and right, so the mode switch reverses the connections, gives you stereo, gives you mono, gives you left and right speakers. According to the manual, when you switch this switch, you should have signal going just to the left or just to the right. Well, what happens if you change this? What happens if you, instead of letting this ground, if you have this wire, break up. What happens if you take these resistors and tie them to this ground? Well, what's going to happen, because this is for record out on this leg, and this is for record out on this leg. What that means is you now have two resistors tied together, which allow signal to pass from one of these to the other and back. And I believe that is why when you switch it to the right, you still have signal on the left. You swing it to the left, you still have signal on the right because it's cross-feeding here. I don't know why he did this, the previous owner. I don't know what the purpose was. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. But this changes the way that control works. I'm pretty sure of it now. So, I think that mystery has also been solved. Well, I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave it the way it was. I thought about it, and I thought about it. I thought about it some more, and I thought, you know, this is probably going to another home, this lamp. If somebody does want to use the DIN connection on this, it's not wired up the way the schematic says it should be. And I have no idea if that's going to cause problems or not. So I decided to put it back the way it's supposed to be. It's really not all that hard. I just undid what he did. So I've got the two resistors back where they belong. And you know, and I wired them exactly the way they were when, actually, I should look and make sure now that I've done this. I put it back the way he had it, but let's see. Alright, so left channel. Let's see, left channel should go to pin 1. And that would be, left channel is input out. And it's on the top one. So this is the left channel, and it does go to pin 1. Yes. Alright, so that was right. For a minute there I thought, it seems weird that they're crossing like that, but that's the way it was. And so now what I'm going to do is I want to check and see if this mode button works the way it's supposed to. I didn't do this entirely for that reason, but at the same time it'd be nice to have this working the way it was designed, the way the instruction manual says it should. And again, if somebody else winds up with this, then it's going to work the way the manual actually says it does. I hope. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. So let's see, we've got speakers. Alright. Now, okay. Where are you? Okay. We're going to use this. It's going to be line in, and I'm putting it on aux 1. Alright, so I'll just plug it into a normal inlet outlet now. Let's see if it's working. Alright. See, I'm going to put this in aux 1. It is. Volume's down. Yes. Now, okay, now it's the stereo. It's working. Oh no, it's there. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it, but no. No. Okay, so that's working now. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So that fixed most of the issues. If you don't have a signal on one of the two channels, you switch to the other, it does switch. So that part is working. The part where it only plays through one channel, that is not working still. Really don't know why. But reverse is now working. I can hear it when I go between stereo and reverse. It changes. So it's kind of weird. But anyway, so I think this is ready to go. Yeah, I don't know, and that's the end of what I'm going to do. So I put it back the way it was. If somebody else does have DIN based equipment, this is wired the way the schematic says it should be wired, so it should be ready to go. All right, well, when you're dealing with a 50-year-old radio, I guess you've got to expect that other digits will have gotten into it, and that's what has happened to this one. I wasn't paying much attention to my dial scale. I was just simply tuning until I found my local station. But as I was playing around with this one or later on and trying to see what it would do at night, it wasn't exciting, but I noticed something. This is almost halfway between 1400 and 1500 on the AM scale. The station that I'm tuned into it's pretty much on the middle. Okay. The station I'm on is supposed to be 1370, which should be somewhere around there. Now, I looked through the manual, and the manual gave helpful alignment instructions, but I was curious about what they said about aligning or adjusting the needle. And let me zoom in here a little bit. And so one of the first things I checked was, what kind of shape is this in? And this needle is pretty well glued to that string, so that's not my problem. This has not been moved. So the next thing I looked at, zoom back out there. So the next thing I looked at was, well, how much does this travel? It goes way beyond this end. And now there's a little zero right here. This stops before it hits that. What that tells me is that somebody has messed with this. So, what I think I want to do is, well, actually, let's turn this up. I want to. All right, so I want to turn this up so I can loosen this one. Now, here's what we're going to try. I'm going to go here, and I want to get this down to 0. So let me loosen the screw. So I've got 2 screws here. You can see them peeking over the top there, I think. So I've loosened both of those, and I want to zero this up on here, kind of. Now, one of the things I have to be careful of is that, okay, good. Now, actually, let me mention this, since I'm playing with this. The way this is set up is this shaft rotates inside of this one. probably probably a number of little ball bearings, and it gives it a gear reduction, makes it very smooth. Then they have all this other gearing, but if you try to turn this, you're not going to get very far. You need to grab this, which means you have to slide this off a little bit, grab your pliers and tweak that a little bit so you get it where you want it to be. Now this seems to be where I do want it, I think. Alright, so I'm going to tighten this up on this one screw at least. And now what I want to do is, actually I'm going to start here. I set up my signal generator earlier, and there's a couple of ways you can do this, but I just grabbed this loop antenna, hooked it to my signal generator, which is one of the ways they suggest to do it. There's other things they actually talk about using an oscilloscope and all that stuff, but I don't have the right equipment for that. So here I am. Alright, so there it is. So let's see. That seems pretty good. So now what I want to do, I'll shut this off, use it at the moment. So now what I want to do is go back here and see how this works. Now what they tell you to do is to switch to the FM and set it to 98, which I guess is kind of in the center of the scale.
401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement.
Alright, so that puts it pretty much where I want it. So I could stop right here, but since they got their digits in this, and actually I want to tighten this other screw up now that I think it's in the right spot. And the thing is that now that I'm close, I'm not so far out, I can adjust the oscillator and try to align this directly or exactly on where I want it to be. So the next thing I want to do, but they wanted me to actually put this on 520. And then I have to do some adjustments from there. So let's go down here, somewhere in here, and we're going to go down there. Oh, turn it back on. So I should have left it on. What was I thinking? All right. Let's see, there's 520. Come on. A little touchy. Let's see. Well, look at this. See what they say to do, because they want me to do this, and I've got to get it somewhat close. Okay, that's close enough. So let's see where we're at. And I can use my tuning scale to help me find the maximum signal there. So what they want me to do, connect VTM to record out. Local oscillator coil L304. I'm going to have to look at a chart. What I'm going to do is, so basically you get this where you want it. You connect to the signal out. I probably have anyway. I have to adjust the oscillator coil for maximum reading. Then I go to 1680. Same thing pretty much. And oscillator trimmer CT301. Okay, so we got oscillator coil and oscillator trimmer. So I'm assuming we're talking one of these trimmers. And let's see. And this was saying it wanted a sweep generator, I think, which I don't have. And they do that for both AM and FM. So if you had an AM frequency sweep generator, which would probably also include the FM, then you could use your oscilloscope and make the curve look like it's supposed to, and all that good stuff. However, I don't happen to have one of those, and so they want me to have a meter, AC VTVM, which I could, and check the voltage coming out of the record out channel. Oh, that's something I didn't notice or didn't know about. Really? Huh. No way. Well, let's see, I want to shine a light in there because they're showing me. Oh, there is. And that is, alright, so that has been glued, so I'm probably not going to mess with that. There's an adjustable slug in here for tuning this antenna, and the paint has not been disturbed. I am not going to play with that. I'll leave that alone. In fact, on here, there's two of these, and neither one of them have been touched either. So, alright, let me look at this. Is there a diagram showing me what, let's see. And there's a couple of ways. So having this service manual, even though it's somewhat deficient in some ways, it does give me some helpful information. But I need to find out which one of these is the oscillator trimmer, and ground lead to oscilloscope. Okay. Interesting. So that's that. We don't want that. All right. Okay, rating. Okay, yeah. All right. So that's that. I don't see. And they give me all kinds of other stuff, but I don't see the picture for the tuner itself that tells me what adjustments go to what. Well, they got all kinds of things here. They talk about having a null meter, which I also do not have. I played around with the FM, and it seems fairly decent. I mean, down here in the basement, it's not great. So that's not ideal. Let's try to make adjustments based, or decide whether to make an adjustment based on the performance down here. But I'll have to find that and figure that out. So I'm not sure why anybody would touch that and why they would mess with that, but obviously somebody did. But now this is lining up, by lining it up on that zero, by lining it up on this little zero down here, it brought everything else into where I want it to be, pretty much. So the only thing I might want to see if I can do is tweak it to get a little bit more volume out of it, a little bit better reception. I mean, it's an old unit. It probably wouldn't hurt to check on that. Like I said, I'm probably not going to play with the FM. It's behaving pretty well. If that hadn't been messed with, I probably wouldn't have touched anything else. Anyway, so I'm going to play with this a little bit. But I did want to show you this. So if you're playing with this, just know that you can't grab. I'm going to remind you. You can't grab this here. You have to slide this out and grab that shaft gently so you don't tear it up. But that's how you would adjust this because if you get it all the way this way and you travel too far and you start backing up and this starts moving, then you need to grab that or loosen the screws a little bit more, see if that works. But your goal is to have this all the way shut. And you can't just shove on these. That would not be a good idea. You want to rotate this shaft that this is secured to. That's how you would move that. I have lubricated all the gears here. I did put oil on all the plastic pins because they're showing a little bit of wear, and just getting a little bit of oil on there really did make a difference in how it. Because at first it was really stiff. They've got a little weight on here, and that weight didn't seem to be doing too much. It felt stiff and it didn't want to go anywhere. So now that it's been lubricated, it seems to be much happier. So let's see. So anything else I need to do? Oh yeah, I got to clean this up. I need to put the screw back in my capacitor. Okay. Well, I started out to tweak this, and I opted to stop fairly quickly for a couple of good reasons. Come on, focus please. First I want to show you, I don't know if you can see it, but there's paint blobs here and here that have not been disturbed. This I thought would probably be the thing that might be the furthest out, and I did tweak this, and it was just a tiny bit off from max volume. Okay, so that I kind of thought, well, that's where I'm going to start. That's what they suggest. That's what I did. And given that these haven't been touched, and this is unlikely to change, and if anything was going to change, it would be more likely something like this. And also, screwdriver twiddlers like to go after things like this, so I thought, well, I'll check that. And that was good. So I stopped. This is, well, it's about 4:30 p.m. and let me back you out. I'm on 810, which is in Albany, which is about 40 miles from us, and it is sometimes hard to get. Some of my tube radios that don't have an RF amplifier front end can't get that station at all. Frequently it's just drowned out by hum and static. And this is not...
For Who's.com, you can get world-class
no, this is staticky.
full range of treatment options for you through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right.
This is now as good as my Kenwood KRV-6050. This is also a 6050 Sony. Well, it's actually not the full name. What was it now? STR. It's an STR-6050. So maybe that small tweak helped this, because it's definitely working better than it was. It could be the time of day, because that does make a difference. But regardless, it's working pretty well. Let's see.
But I am able to recapture that.
So there's my 1370 local, and so I'm actually getting something up above 1370. Now there are things I can do if I connect this. If I connect this to one leg to the AM, the signal will get better, and it works a lot better. Because I played with this a little bit, and it was later in the night. Adding that antenna did make a difference. As with anything that receives signal over the airwaves, a better antenna definitely helps, especially if you're in a fringe area. If I were to bring this upstairs, I'm pretty confident that this would do better. I don't think I've posted it yet. I played around with a little Sears boombox, and the difference between the reception down here and up where I put it, which is out in my storage shed, is quite significant. So it's not just that I am in a weak area. with reception, which I kind of am. It's also where I am. I'm not in the line of sight with the antenna down here in the basement. So I'm going to wrap this up. I need to put the bottom cover on. I did, for those of you who might be wondering. Did I? Yes. I put the screw back in. It wasn't a lot more fun putting the screw in this way as it was that way. Either way you go, it's a pain. But I got it mounted in there. Oh, let me do this. Where is? Let's see what we got. 1.2. Let's look for. I want to look for. That would be 10. That should be 1K. Well, let's use this. Alright. And different things I read tell me that it's not the best idea to just discharge these with a screwdriver, because it does bad things. Now, one of the things that I've discovered is that I really like having this sitting here on my workbench, and it's convenient. I don't have to move it around. I don't have to do anything. So this is going to be DC. I'm going to go up here, and I shouldn't have anything. Well, let's see. And we're down here, 20 volts DC. So we're good. So what I want to do is dig out my ESR meter and see what I read from these. These are all. This one, to be considered healthy, has to be less than 0.1, I believe. Yes. So when I tested it, it was less than 0.1. Alright, so let's check this out. Get you out of the way. I expect that there's probably resistors in the circuit that drain those down, but who knows. Alright, so yeah, that's good. Let's go to this one. Black dot is there. Nothing wrong with that one. Let's do a quick check on this one. Again, I think these are probably already discharged, but I don't want to break that by having voltage on there, because you can do that. I don't think they like it very much. This is only 60 volts. That would be bad. And I'm on 20 volts right now, so nothing. Oh, so you can't even see that from there. That's the only downside of having that. So it's low. And yeah, it seems to have improved. So that was 0.01 to 1060. Yeah, 0.1 is what 0.1 is what think brain. 0.1 is what the recommended ESR is for that one. This is less than 0.05 or something. So I'm thinking that that is just fine. So turn this off. I don't need you anymore. I don't need this anymore. One of the interesting things in the instructions was to measure the signal when you're aligning this. You plug a lead into the RCA out, or the record out rather, and you can measure the voltage. You can measure the voltage that way. I might have to find a new home for that. Well, anyway. Alright. I mean, this is in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of rust on the edge there. That means this was sitting somewhere damp. I mean, if I wanted to make this really good, I could repaint the cover. I don't think I'm going to. This thing works just as good. Let's see if there is, yes, okay. There's a longer lip here, which I think goes on the back, and a shorter lip goes to the front. Yes. There we go. So, yeah. I mean, to be honest, when I show you the amp, or well, it's an FM stereo amplifier, Fisher, tube type, push-pull output on it. I hope I can find information, given how popular Fisher was in its day. I'm pretty sure I can find something on it. But I have fond memories of an identical Fisher radio, and I can't remember if that one was FM and AM. The one that I bought at the tag sale, that one is FM only. I was a little surprised at that. And I expect that if it's just an FM tuner, and I have a number of tube type FM tuners, but I didn't realize that Fisher made an FM stereo receiver that was, a stereo receiver that was FM only. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. So let's see, we've got this, and that, and so there. I'm gonna maybe just wipe it down a little bit. I'm pretty sure I cleaned it, so I have a feeling that my attempt to clean this is probably not going to result in much difference. But maybe the second swipe around will make a difference. Well, actually maybe I didn't wipe it down. I thought I had. It does look better though. Okay. I don't usually record cleaning it up, but I just felt like I wanted to today. And yeah, it's actually coming out nicely. Much better. Yeah, I mean, for anyone who wanted to make it look like new, it'd be pretty simple to just do a quick sand and paint this. I don't know. This has a textured finish, and I've not looked for that before. I looked for wrinkle paint and find that, but I don't know about the lightly textured this, because that's not smooth and shiny, as you can probably tell. It's almost like a spatter paint, which maybe is what that is. But anyway, so it came out good. I mean, when you compare this to what it was when I first got it, that is huge. Huge difference. So, let's see, I've got this plugged in. Put that on. Alright, do that. And there we are.
Department than just a firefighter. To volunteer, please call us. 802-442-1051.
This is our local station.
Again, that's
It's our local station, and
1051. Your community
I don't know if they're
needs
playing
you.
any music or not.
1370 AM WBTN is your community radio station and gets most of its support from listeners like you. That money not only keeps the lights on, it keeps
So-
our programming available to our valued listeners. From the smallest
Yeah.
cash donation to a show sponsorship, supporting WBTN
This
maintains a
probably
valuable community
works best
resource, boosts the local economy, and allows
when you're actually
local
using a
voices
stereo
to be
signal,
heard. If
because you can
want to
tell
donate,
when you go to reverse, you can actually hear the channels change, the sound changes. But on mono, it doesn't seem to matter. I'm still puzzled as to why this isn't working well. I thought I had that fixed, but anyway, so be it. It's not worth me spending extra time on it to try to figure out why. Okay, I don't know who this is. Oh. So, that's noisy. Loudness works really well on this. It sounds very nice. And yeah, and you can see shining that up, what a difference that makes. It actually looks better in the camera even than it does here. And I think it's the angle. But it came out really, really nice. When I saw how much film it had on it, it looked like cigarette film, I really did not think that was going to come off. So I'm really thankful that I had that really awesome soap to make a big difference. So I'm gonna wrap this up. This was relatively simple to fix, and let's see. Yeah, I guess there's some rust that's gotten into some of this a little bit. So there are a couple of minor things that had to be resolved. Getting the tuning where it belongs is now. I did adjust that one. It was an oscillator coil adjustment, and that seems to have made a little bit of a difference in how well this behaves. Getting all the controls. Oh, one of the ones that I thought I was going to get away with just hitting it with let me actually, I know I've mentioned this before, but not everybody watches the same thing, so I want to show you this. Contact cleaner. This is designed, and this is the reason why I got this, leaves no residue. Sometimes when you have, I'm not sure what that brown fibrous material is that a lot of rotary switches are made of, but one of the weaknesses of that material is that it can start carbon tracking, especially if you're dealing with 120 volts or so. I actually have a tube tester that I had to repair because the material actually there's a little channel burnt right through it because of carbon tracking. And I bought that contact cleaner back when I was playing with one of my, it was my C3. I thought that the resistances the resistance that I was measuring, I thought it was coming from a problem with one of the rotary switches. So I got that, and actually it seemed to help a little bit, but it turned out that, and if you haven't watched my video on the weird resistance problem I had with that, you might find it interesting. Turns out there was a breakdown in the wiring, and just holding the wire against the chassis, the wire would actually conduct. It was conductive. I could measure it with a meter, and it was really raising Cain with that little measurement device. So, alright, enough yammering. I'm going to say thank you for watching, if you watched this far. If you liked what you saw, again, I'd love to hear your comments. I try to respond to them. I'm not good about getting to them in a real timely manner, unfortunately. There's lots of other things happening. but I try to get back to people who have been kind enough to comment, even if they are commenting negatively. I try to respond to that in an appropriate manner. I don't like to beat on people, so even if what you want to say is not a positive thing, just as long as you do it politely, I don't mind that. People have corrected me before. They'll probably do it again, I have no doubt. So, and I learn things from people who do leave comments, and so I definitely appreciate that. So, if you like what you see, or you want to leave a comment, or subscribe, of course, I ask you to do that. So I know I'm headed in the right direction, especially if you leave a like. If you leave a like, then I know that I'm doing something that's appealing to people. When I don't, I'm kind of left to wonder. You know, I'm still a small channel. The number of views I get is small. My primary reason for doing this, though, is that there are things that hopefully I can help people with, and I know I've had grateful comments that say, oh, thank you for putting that video out because it really helped me on my project. So if I can do that, it makes me happy, and as long as I think it's worthwhile, I will continue to do what I'm doing. I would definitely like to grow my channel a bit more, and probably I need to work at it more, but right now I can do what I can do, and that's about it. So again, thanks for watching.